So this is actually a video I've been wanting to make probably since I started becoming, because I'm kind of turning into a hip hop commentary channel. Not turning into, I pretty much am, which I'm completely okay with. That is something I like doing. I've been watching these other commentary channels like Pyro Cynical and Sean C's kind of a commentary channel, Penguins and Oopaville. I wanted to be a commentary channel, but for hip hop, a hip hop commentary channel. I think something like that'd be dope. So this is a topic that I wanted to talk about for a very long time. Is the fact that album sales, and especially not necessarily like just this year, for about the last 2 or 3 years, have been consistently getting lower from hip hop. And I think it's not necessarily, people like to say it's because rappers fall off, rappers aren't as big as they used to be. I feel like you can say that whenever one artist does it, but when every artist is doing it, you can no longer say that, because it's obviously there's a bigger problem afoot. There's something up that where everyone you ever meet loves an album, but it only sells like 40K first week. So there's something off. That type of stuff did not used to happen, and it definitely just didn't used to happen like it does now. An album of the year, like nowadays, could get like maybe 40K, maybe 30K first week, but back like in, I want to say probably before 2018-ish, probably, the album of the year was #1 record. That was common. It was a common occurrence. Like hip hop albums were all over the charts. Now you don't really see that anymore. I think there's a multitude of reasons for that. First one I'll talk about is a change in people's listening ability. And there's multiple things that I mean whenever I say that. A sense of people, because of the group, or a big majority of people who say they're hip hop fans, they say mid to every single song they hear, and like the way people consume music is different now. Obviously, people get very bored of music. And what I mean by that is they can play a song, and if they're not entranced by it in the first 10 seconds, it's a skip, which is barely even long enough to consider it a stream. My girlfriend does the same thing. I'll play her music, and if it doesn't get her immediately, she skips it. And, I can't really blame her for that, because I can see why people would do that. I don't want to waste time listening to a song I think is going to be bad. But, it's kind of my hobby right now, so I'm kind of getting into it. There's a few other obvious reasons, because of the streaming era. Music is so easy to get a hold of, you know what I'm saying? Like, if some people aren't entertained, they immediately skip, because they don't think it's going to be worth their time, because they can go to something else that is worth their time, that they know is worth their time, Like streaming platforms make it easier and easier to find music, as opposed to what people used to have to do. Buy CDs, download MP3s, stuff like that. But if you buy a CD, you're going to listen to what you pay for. And that's also a direct one album sale. You buy a CD, that is an album sold. Okay, now it's like you need so many streams just for it to consider one album unit. I don't know the exact amount. I actually did try and look, and there's always a few different places you can go. I've seen a lot of places saying 100 streams was one album sale. 2,000, like anywhere in that range was considered one album sale. When it used to be, you buy the CD, boom, that's an album sale. So instead of getting 1 million people to listen to one song on Spotify, instead of 1 million people buying your CD. That's basically what it's come down to. And obviously, it's, that's nowhere near as well of a thing. That's not as well of a a tactic anymore. But that's the way music is consumed nowadays. So artists are trapped doing that. I also think, I've said this before, in my Wire rap albums are too long video, which was I dropped not long after I started doing daily uploads. I feel like longer album times play into this. Shorter attention spans with longer albums don't work anymore, because people aren't going to listen to all of it. Someone with a short, most people, like I said, that have the previous problems are going to listen to 5 seconds of your song, call it mid, and go to the next one. You know, that I don't think that counts as a stream for the last song. That also, like, they're not going to come back to it. So even if you do get a stream, it's one stream and boom, that's it. And they're probably not even going to finish the album because they think 2 songs are mid. They're going to think the whole album is mid and they're going to keep going. And I feel like a point you could use against me is being like, not everyone's like that. You would be surprised the space that these people exist in. I for sure think there's more people that listen and digest music that are like that than people care to admit. You know, those are the same people. I'm going to be honest with you. Those are the same, like, Opium fans do that. That's, okay, there's obviously other people besides Opium fans that do that. However, I'm going to use these fans as an example. All right, you want to know why they love Ken Carson, Destroy Lonely, and Playboy? I love Playboi Carti, but do you want to know why I love Playboy for different reasons they love Playboy? Because their productions usually grab you immediately. And there's no waiting for a beat to build up and stuff like that. It's an immediate dopamine hit. And that is what keeps them going. If they don't feel that immediate dopamine, they like that immediate stimulus to their brain that, oh, this is a good beat, they're not going to listen to the whole song. Which is why they'll go to a Gunna album or a Don Toliver album and immediately call it mid, because those songs have and need time to build up. To be fair, this isn't necessarily to do with people. I think it's a lot harder to make a rap hit nowadays than it used to be. It's harder to make a number 1 hit because there's so much competition almost. And rappers really don't do rollouts to the extent that they should, because it has more people looking at you, which leads to more moves or more opportunities to listen to music. I don't know why rappers don't do it. Honestly, it's kind of like laziness, low key. I kind of look at it and also because how easy it is to put music out there. I am a nobody. Fatal K is a nobody, right? In the music making industry, literally no one knows me. I could fart into a microphone. I could fart into my headphone microphone and upload it onto Spotify if I wanted to and make an album called Fart Noises. I could do that. That is how easy it is to put music onto Spotify. So why would rappers waste time doing these big old rollouts? That's how they think of it. Why would I waste my time doing this big old rollout when I can really just drop it like that? You know? Rappers don't necessarily realize, they don't play into rollouts like they used to. Like Travis Scott, right? Utopia did obviously have a rollout with the whole briefcase and stuff, and it was kind of a different theme, obviously, and Utopia and Astroworld are 2 very different albums, but the rollout, I feel like, for Astroworld was a little more robust and a little more attention-grabbing than Utopia's rollout was, which I don't think was necessarily, I like the idea of doing the briefcase thing and giving it to other, people and doing just, cool things with, remaking the Beatles album cover with it. I think stuff like that definitely had people looking at you, but, that, like I said, that would have been a good time to do the Travis Scott concert. But I there was just a difference. It didn't feel as large as Travis has the ability and has shown to have the visions of doing. I also know that album bundles are nowhere near as popular and don't contribute to sales as much as they used to. Because if y'all didn't know, album bundles from merch that would come with a digital album or merch that would come with a vinyl or stuff like that, that used to count as an album sale. So if 100,000 people bought a bundle with a digital album, 100,000 people just bought your album, 100,000 sales. That's I feel like I'm dumbing it down, and honest to God, I really hope I'm not wrong. I'm pretty sure that's right. That is how it used to work, and that is how Nav's album Good Intentions got number 1 because of that. because he absolutely blew it up with album bundles. That used to be a thing. That's how Travis Scott outsold Nicki Minaj. Album bundles had a lot to do with that, because he was obviously getting more buzz at the time, which led to more people getting the digital album, more people bought the merch, that counted as a sale. I also think it has to do with not as many new sounds or as well made music across the genre right now, which I feel like leads to even less people tuning into other people's music, Because, like, do you know how many times and how often we hear the term, like, he's biting someone, or this is some, like, whose son, some, like, what's his name, son, you know? Like, Gunna has the title, like, one of Young Thug's sons, you know? Someone that is blew up off of Young Thug because he kind of sounded like him. Lil Baby's the same way. Ken Carson, Destroy Lonely, they bite off Playboi Carti. You know, that's basically where that's coming from. And I feel like that leads to nowhere near as many people, like, tuning in, because there's just not as much new sounds. And that's not rap's fault. That's not a rapper's fault. There's almost, like, no matter what kind of music you make, it is going to resemble someone else's. There is someone out there who is making similar music to you. There's nothing you can do about it, really. The most you can do is put a little spin on it and do it your way. That's the most you can do. And, you know, just that's basically it. That's the most you can do. So yeah, not as many new sounds I feel like definitely has taken a part in like album sales doing less, because Don Toliver, a guy that is popularly known for kind of not biting Travis Scott, well, a little bit, but taking massive inspiration from Travis Scott music. I feel like because people know that, and because people are going to comparing him to Travis, they're going to listen to a Travis album instead of a Don Toliver album, because the way their brain thinks is like, yeah, I'm not going to get the full package when I'm right. Utopia is my full package. You know what I'm saying? It also makes you wonder, because of all this stuff, if this trend will ever end. You know? Will album sales from rap artists just keep getting consecutively lower until we're basically used to it? It's like NBA contracts. People call NBA contracts humongous now. You don't realize that that's what it's about to be. Like, that is about that in about 10 seasons. That NBA contract that Anthony Edwards got might end up looking small compared to someone else's. Like, you know. So Don Toliver, Heartstone Psycho sold about 40,000 first week. I know his last album sold 90,000. And this, in my opinion, has nothing to do with Don Toliver. Really. I mean, yeah, his rollout could have been a little more. And yeah, maybe he could, like, certain singles could have, like, maybe done a little bit better. Bandit did really good. Or maybe he could have done some certain avenues and maybe get some more eyes on him or something like that. But you can't, like, it's a great album. People were calling it Rap Album of the Year. Certain people were saying it is like a top 5 Album of the Year contender. I still think it is. I definitely think it is. It was one of my favorite albums I've listened to all year. I still listen to it like every single day. 4x4, Glock, New Show. Is that what it's called? New Show? Oh my god. I think that's what it's called. Anyway. Ice Age, Inside. I love Purple Rain. Purple Rain has grown on me a lot, and I already really liked the song the first time I heard it and made the review for it. I think I said this earlier. Competition, I also feel like, is becoming a humongous thing. Do you know how many decent-sized rappers there are now? Do you know how easy it is to discover new rappers if you really, like, aren't lazy and you try? Like, the XXL freshman list, right? It would have been so easy to find those guys. That Mexican OT, Big X the Plug. And it's like every week I feel like there is a certain named artist that it has a decent bit of buzz is dropping. Some people get burnt out on listening to new rap music. Some people don't even notice. This Megan Thee Stallion album, which the video, like the review of that, should be up before this video. The reason I am late to it is because I didn't know it dropped. You know, and it was already out for a week, so I know other people didn't realize it dropped, especially if I didn't, because I like to stay in tune with what's going on, like when it comes to album drops, because I like to make the review videos. So, if I didn't notice it dropped, I know other people didn't notice, and I know that's other people not tuning in, because she might have been drowned out by other artists. I also think that, like, another thing, adding to the lazy rollout things, have you ever noticed on Spotify, rappers will use their album covers as their single covers? That, in my opinion, leads to a lower album sale because you're being lazy. Like, this new song, first of all, people might get confused and think like they've already, like, it's a song they've already listened to when actually it's a full-blown album, but I don't think that's nowhere near as many people as you would think it is. Because I don't think the mass majority of people are that stupid that they would do that. I think it's more so I think it honestly adds to the mid allegations, because you're not taking the time to make this song unique and give your album a feeling, you know? I don't know, that I've always kind of had a different, that's why I always use like different covers than my album cover for my songs, especially if they're singles from it. I don't really know, it's always just been a rule of thumb for me. Honestly, it's very hard to find a release date that isn't already with another rapper that could have a pretty decent chance of stealing your first week sales. Bryson Tiller dropped an album. Boom, J. Cole surprise drops with a diss track against Kendrick Lamar. Like that, there went up like all the attention that Bryson Tiller, who had a whole album rollout that was a pretty interesting rollout for his album, and like people were genuinely excited for it. Calypso was the single he dropped before that, a really good song. People were listening to Whatever She Wants, and boom, all the hype sapped because of just convenient timing on J. Cole's part. Nothing Bryson Tiller could do. I mean, it just sucks that his album ended up and could have maybe sold like 60K. It got dropped down to 40K. I don't really know if it would have had that big of an impact, but I do think, that could have been the potential. Also, I think TikTok kind of has a lot to do with this. Again, the attention spans of people and the kind of music they're looking for. If your album isn't filled to the brim with TikTok music, or music that that's why I think it's harder to make a number one hit, because $1 Million Baby, right? Big on TikTok. It's number 2 on Billboard. It's not really a coincidence. And I'm not saying $1 Million Baby, or I'm not even saying Tommy Richmond is a TikTok artist, or I'm not even saying it's blowing up just because of TikTok. But TikTok is one. It'd be stupid to say TikTok is not a big reason for that song's success, because people learned it from TikTok. It got big on TikTok. It had a trend. It still does. That's why it's as big as it was. Okay, that's not crazy to say that. That's not a hot take. But I burp in every single video I make, I swear to God. I don't even mean to. I think I be chatting and it's just a burp comes out, because usually I eat right before I make videos. I think that has something to do with it. But yeah, I think this is why album sales are getting lower. All these reasons. And it's kind of unpredictable. I did it again. It's kind of and my voice cracked. It's kind of unpredictable right now to say if it's going to change or if it's just going to keep getting lower. I do think trends always change and moments always change. We had CDs, we had vinyls. Nowhere near as many people buy vinyls. I'm sorry, I bought the Don Toliver vinyl at the time of recording this. I bought it today. I bought it earlier today before I went into work. It's just, nowhere near as many people buy CDs or buy vinyls. That has a lot to do with it. And it's just, you never know. Streaming makes it hard to get album sales anyway. And maybe we'll get out of this era, or we won't. Only time will tell.